I do want to talk about this. I mean, as we talk about the Trump Dream Team, I think what you're seeing here, well, okay. Boy, how do I want to get this thing started? This has been on my heart and mind for a good period of time. And I was never like the biggest Trump fan, as I've said many times on the show. That's why I have you on the show, Jesse, because you scratch that itch for us all. Okay, you've been a solid Trump guy, for the last 4 years since I've known you. Mm-hmm. It's been great. You've been very consistent on it. We've gone back and forth on some stuff. I'm part of that like libertarian crew that's like, there's some good things about Trump, but we got to go through his record. And that's what always scares me is his past record, the things that he failed to do. And now I look at this stuff and I go, oh my God, is he really going to do this stuff? And I'm starting to think he's embracing liberty movement.
Right.
Okay.
He's come our way more than people have gone his way. He is siding with the grassroots. I mean, look at COVID. COVID is a perfect example of that. He even, he never got too much into the weeds of it even during the campaign. But, look at the people who he's selecting, RFK Jr. and other people who are, top opposition thinkers in COVID that were going against the mainstream narrative. Trump isn't willing to just go along with this because he was calling it out as China from the beginning, even when they were saying, it's racist to call it the China virus. You can't say it came from China. It's racist to shut down travel between us and China, even though that was what prevented a major spread of COVID. So with all that, yeah, I mean, I think Trump has come our way on a ton of issues, COVID being a very important one, but on the issues of liberty, Trump has moved to a smaller government, actually drained the swamp type mentality. And if he actually finishes the job in these 4 years, then, it's what people always wanted to see MAGA be. So he's finally putting the team together to make that happen.
Well, and that's the thing is RFK Jr. might be the most interesting of all the different appointments. Did RFK get announced before a Thursday show? I can't remember if we talked about it.
I can't remember when
I don't think it was. I think it was after. I want to say it was after. So you guys even haven't heard our comment, but it's like that's the biggest middle finger to all the people that screwed us during COVID. Was appointing RFK, right? A guy that wrote a book on Anthony Fauci. I mean, now Fauci should be in prison, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. And is again, they say he's anti-vaccine. He's certainly against the COVID vaccine. He's against a lot of other vaccines as well. I don't know if I'm sure he thinks some vaccines are good, but I don't know. I don't know well enough on that one. But for sure, he's against that COVID jab. Well, shouldn't be called the vaccine.
Whatever the vaccine schedule was when he was born, he took. So whatever that was, 3 or 4 vaccines maybe at the time. But yeah, and I'm not sure exactly his position on every single one of them. He says that he's not going to take them away, that he just wants things to go through rigorous public testing that isn't completely funded by the pharmaceutical industry and isn't funded by the people who are producing these vaccines and medications and whatnots, which that's how proper science would go anyway. You would have independent people who don't have a monetary stake involved in the medicine who are going to actually test it out. So hopefully he's going to actually be a true and fair, neutral referee in these in medicine here. He'd be a great choice.
Okay, so the left's kind of melting down right now, Jesse, and they're acting like, well, there's not a mandate, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's, a mandate's always subjective, okay? And then why did people vote for Trump? The left's also trying to belittle why they voted for Trump. Oh, how do you feel about those cheap eggs now? That's like the way to minimize it. Oh, people only voted for Trump for cheap eggs. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be honest with you. I think Trump, there's a lot of reasons why people did well or voted his direction, but it's really because the status quo has failed us so tremendously, okay? Because if you think about all the reasons not to vote for Trump, get past us, okay? Let's just think about the average voter here. The average voter has a ton of off-ramps to voting for Donald Trump, right? I mean, I know you hate it, but the fact that he's got mean tweets, there's an off-ramp there. People don't like. They get this picture who Donald Trump is from the media, like it or not. That's just the picture they get. There's a lot of off-ramps to supporting Trump, and yet so many people still voted for him. And that's got to be the biggest middle finger to the status quo. They really feel like we are against screwed. You just look at what's the news today. The news today, this morning, as if Joe Biden's even coherent right now. He's in Brazil, He got lost in the jungle the other day.
I saw that video where he does a press conference thing, just wanders back into the jungle.
Yeah.
It's like, what is going on?
Did you see him with the G20 leaders? They take a picture without him. He's not on stage.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, they're like, oh, God, you haven't seen this yet?
No.
Go pull up my Twitter. This is so interesting. Although I think Trudeau's with him as well at that point. But they're like literally got the media going, where's Biden? Where's Biden? And then they're just all like leaving like it doesn't matter.
Wow.
There you go. Scroll down. Keep going. There's Tim Walz. Keep going.
Yeah, I saw that picture all done.
All right, play that. Oh, wait. Hold on. Missing context. Biden and Trudeau arrived late for the photo following a bilateral meeting because of logistical issues. Italian Prime Minister also missed. Biden and Trudeau formed a separate. Yeah, but it doesn't ignore the fact that they just went ahead and took pictures without Biden.
They did a separate huddle.
Yeah.
that means nothing.
Yeah. I mean, literally, they took the photo without, and then you don't need to play it, but the media's like, oh, where's Biden? Where's Biden? So it is a little weird because I saw him and Trudeau, and then they're trying to find him not to the left. But the fact that, like, usually America
they got the top dogs there. I mean, Xi Jinping, Mohammed bin Salman. They got what's the guy from India? But they got all kinds of top leaders there. It is, it shows that America's not respected, and not good.
So look. I mean, I don't think that context is much different. It's still the fact that there was a time that I remember where they're like, well, where's the United States president? Let's not take this thing without him. We're not leaders in the world with Joe Biden. Okay, but anyhow, the bigger story here is literally the Biden administration somehow approved long-range missiles for Ukraine to send into Russia. And according to the press this morning, they've already used these things. And Vladimir Putin is hinting towards the ability to use nuclear bombs.
Right. Yeah.
Like, this is happening.
Yeah, I saw Putin got rid of one of his policies and treaties, which was for denuclearization and the not using nuclear weapons under any circumstances. But I'm hoping that it's all just optics and threats and whatnot, because Putin knows that the war is coming to an end. And there's going to be a negotiation. That's how all wars end. A negotiation among leaders acting like adults. So Trump is finally going to come into the room and make it happen. Because
I know, but Jesse, what about all the bloodshed and all the crap that's happening? And North Korea's got troops now. North Korea's helping out Russia. Did you know that?
It makes sense.
Yes, exactly. So literally, we're watching the start of World War III happening on the Ukrainian battlefield. And this is happening with a lame duck president who literally gets lost in the jungle. Mm-hmm. It doesn't show up to the photo. Like, is there anything else in his freaking schedule these days than the damn photo op? I mean, that's the only thing he could do well. Mm-hmm. By the way, great photo op with Donald Trump. Boy, the smile on his face makes you think he voted for Donald Trump.
Yep.
It's pretty interesting stuff. So to me, it's like, I think, mandate or not, the American people voted overwhelmingly for Donald Trump. With all those off-ramps, they still voted for this guy. And the best way to categorize why they did it is because they believe the status quo is failing. And when you understand politics the way we do, it's failing to such a large level. I mean, it's not even failing, it's screwing us. It's like purposely screwing us. Mm-hmm. And so Donald Trump I think he is aware of this and personally frustrated what they did. And therefore, he is actually going to take action. So he's talking about things like ending the income tax. Now, I'm not going to put money on that, right? I'm not going to put money on it being possible to happen anytime soon. But the fact he's even talking that way is good.
But it's why he says the most beautiful word in the English language, tariffs. And that's how you do it. And, honestly, I do want China to pay. When they have slave labor and we can't compete with them as with our American labor standards, they have to pay a price, and especially when they want tariffs on all of our goods, but we can't tariff them back. Of course not. That's not acceptable. We need to be, if we are the top superpower in the world, which we are, that means we have the negotiating leverage, and only Trump was the one willing to use it. Obama got ran over, Biden got ran over, Bush got ran over, Clinton got ran over, and Kamala was going to get run over, and it was probably going to be the end of all of us at that point. But, with Trump getting back in there, he's going to be able to take on China, and that's the number one concern.
JL Jazz is back in. I haven't seen her on the show live show lately. Hi all. I heard of a meme with Biden walking in the jungle that said, "I love it when they release him back into the wild." That's pretty good. And K-Wall for life. To think the Democrats try to sell us a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory through 2028. Amazing.
Yep. Yeah, but it wasn't until that debate that it was in front of everybody's faces that, hey, he's got dementia. You can't put this guy up. And then even then, some of the Democrats didn't want to right away. And also, Scuba McSalty says they've been asking where Biden is for the last 4 years. So yeah, good point. I mean, is he really the president? It's hard to say. It's really Blinken and some of these other top people that are really running the show. It's not Joe Biden.
Did you see what Blinken said the other day? Mm-mm. This is another tweet. Are you still in the same part of my Twitter feed there, Dawson? I'm starting to realize that my Twitter feed is easy show prep. Because I'm like quick to repost things because I'm like, oh, I know I could just find it later on Twitter. Oh, shoot. Well, scroll back down. This is an interesting thing. I think it's just a image. Maybe if you go to media, it'll show up quicker. So if you just click on my media, I think it took a screen capture. Yep, right there. See, you don't know what Blinken looks like.
Yeah, underneath
left.
The woman with the glasses.
Yep. There you go.
One.
Click on that. This is Anthony Blinken saying, today we announced that the United States will support the city of Lima in building a new passenger train line that will expand access to reliable and affordable transportation for over 200,000 people every single day. Lima, Peru. I kind of think, Jesse, maybe, just maybe the election was about this. When we're getting screwed, and yes, eggs are going up in price and gas is going up in price, but it's much more than that. You allow illegals to come across the border and occupy and run multiple apartment complexes in Colorado.
And then fix the country that they're coming from.
Yes. And then you go and you prioritize fixing trains in Lima, Peru. Mm-hmm. Like maybe, just maybe, the American people aren't fine with that. And maybe, just maybe, when you're saying, and by the way, this is how it's announced. The Biden administration allows Ukraine to use U.S. missiles, long-range missiles, against Russia. Like, we allow it. Well, I'm glad that we allow it.
Right.
Vladimir Zelensky believes that we don't actually get to call the shots. It's like, that's cute. That's very cute, yeah. Mm-hmm. But Zelensky clearly is loving this thing. He's going to, and by the way, they are doing this, Jesse, because this allows Ukraine to turn the war and go the opposite, like allow them to possibly win this war that they can't win at all. They can't win this war.
Well, they want to continue it on so that Trump can't end it. And,
think about that. Think about that. That's crazy. Ukraine cannot, the only way Ukraine can win this war is committing NATO troops. And let's just be honest, committing American troops as part of that NATO mission. Mm-hmm. That's the only way they can win this thing. They can't beat Russia.
Right.
They can't, and especially with North Korea joining, they can't do that. Mm-hmm. This thing's got to end. This thing's so utterly ridiculous. Just maybe that's what this is about. And just maybe when Trump goes in to the UFC in Madison Square Garden, did you know that the Nazis held a rally in 1939 in Madison Square Garden?
I'm aware.
Ooh, the connotations there, Jesse. Mm-hmm. By the way, it's also interesting how many people are meeting with Hitler. You know, Joe Biden just met with literally Hitler. Morning Joe and Mika went and met with literally Hitler. It's so interesting. Also,